let us swoop out of it into the not before time, the time that is now.
Go mute the
now
stream so I don't hear double omega.
It's a good idea. Because hello, we're back. Welcome to Failed Portrayal. Hi, how are you? We're back. We had to take a week off because last Tuesday was the day I became the sick. I mean, technically,
sometimes
I was
it
feeling
happens,
it.
you know.
You know, I was technically
Omega had
feeling
a
it
brief-
Monday night, but it was Tuesday was the bad day.
Omega, did you roll a 7 recently?
Eh. It's bad.
Okay, I'm saying is you briefly encountered a Nurgle entity.
Could be. 7's the number. But we're back with Failed Portrayal, your regularly scheduled Failed Portrayal. We're going to talk about Momento. Because we're continuing our deck build pack time.
And we will continue to do so even longer than you thought we would.
Yeah. At least if they can keep turning them out. Because finally, we did already know that Crossover Breakers, DBCB, was going to exist, but now they actually have the thing they usually do with the preview where they've shared names and images, and we'll probably look at those in a second. But Momento. Memento is an interesting one. We decided to pick it first out of the block of Valiant Smashers, with Smashers being Memento, Centurion, and Valmonica, because Memento was just added to Master Duel, so, you know, it's a deck you can play mostly in full, except for a couple of legacy supports, you know, bonus cards that are coming out like right now in the OCG, or just came out.
Yeah, excluding some like basically brand new cards.
Yeah.
It's all but fully playable in Master Duel, as opposed to the other two that
Still aren't
they're
in.
there. They're like,
Trust me.
oh, they just aren't there. Oh,
Yeah, no, they're not in yet.
cool.
I think everybody thought because they banned King Calamity they were going to put Centurion out this month, but they did not yet, so we'll see. But Memento is out and was actually a featured deck in a couple of events, so some of you, including myself, may have some actual chance to have played with it a little. Yeah, sorry, I'm still going to cough a little as I shake loose the phlegm.
Look, you can play Memento and kill people with the threat of nostalgia.
Yeah, you can send them to the Bone Zone. But it is the more interesting one. And arguably out of the three, like, Centurion, I think in the OCG saw a little bit of niche success when it came out because it
Centurion
was
it saw a fair bit of success.
Yeah, King
but
Calamity
it was,
Turbo.
Yeah, it was a King Calamity engine. Like we joked about it to the point last episode, where the wiki page for Centurion just outright gives you a guide on how to summon King Calamity.
Yeah, when the wiki is telling you how to play the deck, they're like, and here's how you make King Calamity on your opponent's turn. Yeah, not a great showing. Obviously, they're getting some of their own support, and presumably will continue to do so because, you know, King Calamity got banned in the OCG and in Master Duel. I don't think it's banned in the TCG yet, but that's just because the TCG meta is still pretty contentious in a couple of points.
Look, you can King Calamity all you want. It's not gonna do much against the Snake Eye board, unfortunately. Somehow.
Yeah, somehow it won't break. It won't break.
I
the Snake
don't know how that works, but I think it's because I've chosen to keep up all other things.
Tenpai is not as like, it's good. It's not as cooking as people thought it would be, even though we're like, the game is over, Tenpai. It's not a 2-0. It looks like before Nats and before WCQs, Fiendsmith and Fiendlink isn't going to be as good as we thought because there's a little Link 2 that was a promo card or a special side card in the OCG that hasn't been imported yet. They did not print Mini Arash yet.
The white lady we have yet to get to go into the white woman.
Yeah, so she's a light Fiend Link 2, which was really important to unstick your board for Fiendsmith.
The Link 1 starter gets into Light Fiend, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So you can just go Moon of the Cold Sky into the starter, and you can just your board has now been unlocked. You can just Fiendsmith full combo.
Yeah, but without that deck will, while still being Ubel supported Fiend Link, will probably be pretty good. It is not going to be as toothy as it should be. So we're in an interesting space.
But even without Closed Sky, I think it's still going to be a competent deck. It's just the fact that Moon of the Closed Sky allows any two monsters to start a Fiendsmith combo,
Yeah.
which is why that deck was so powerful.
Yeah,
And when you
so
can't do that,
we'll have to
you're-
see how and where
That's
Konami shakes it out, you know. But we are, you know, we're doing lots of weird little things. There's some good reprints in the new Legacy set, you know, which kind of surprised people because everybody was really down after the Rarity Collection, and it's like, oh shit, we're putting reprints. Also, like once again, don't believe pre-sale prices. I don't know fucking why, but the collector's rare of like Magia Master Dragon, the new like Dragon Master Knight retrain, are like super high, multi 3 digits. Don't buy that. I know it's a nostalgia bait card. It's not good. Don't pay that price. Wait.
Somewhat insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. I saw the price. I don't know what people are going for. But Memento. It's a deck that does stuff. And it does pretty good stuff. I would say from playing it, the primary thing is I feel like it lacks a couple of the normal bits of interaction you would expect from a deck. But it relies very heavily on destroying your own little guys to search out more guys, so that ideally you have enough blown-up guys that you can make big chungus.
You make giant bone pile. Bone pile turns into kaiju.
Big chungus.
Kinda
We do have a
feels
little bit
like
of lore.
that's what it is.
So in the depths of the earth where the living never set foot, there are monsters and mountains of bones stacked as high as the eye can see. By the way, these monsters look awful familiar, but it's hard to say from where.
That's the best.
All things forgotten, or all things never played for more than probably a decade out of except for like
probably
weirdos.
literally never played, except for
Unless you're
Darkblade.
Red Mage.
Or unless you're like Golden Nova that plays Tryhard Dragon.
Yeah, but I do like that the lore archive just like it uses the terms, it uses the phrase, by the way, you know.
Yeah, these guys they
Wink, wink,
look
nudge,
familiar.
nudge.
You know, King of the Netherworld gathered bones to breathe life into them. You know, Banquet of Bones. So the theme here is Mesoamerican underworld meets old school vanilla monsters. In the OCG, they're usually just called Memento, but the TCG translation actually adds like a lot of Mictlan and Tilan, you know, referring to Mictlan, the Aztec underworld. So you get a lot of Aztec vibes and a little bit of the like. I think with all the brightly colored crystals, it gives me kind of a, you know, Sugar Skull's, you know, Mexican Day of the Dead kind of vibe as well.
Makes sense.
Yeah. We also have a lot of various crystal, like just various colors throughout all our little goons.
Yeah, there's a lot of little color themes. Let's kick things off by pulling up some of the mentioned goons. And for this, yes, I will be doing side-by-side comparisons between the new guy. For instance, right now I'm pulling up Momentolan Goblin.
This is a goblin calligrapher, right?
Yes, and he's based off of the Goblin Calligrapher.
Yeah, like, there's a very specific one in the Memento archetype that just never actually got an American release, I don't think.
There's 2 that are unreleased.
Oh, there's
over here,
2?
at least, yeah. So, but here's the side-by-side comparison. You have Mentolan Goblin and Goblin Calligrapher, who in the OCG was just known as False Goblin, Suka Goburin.
False Goblin.
Yes.
Oh, it's because of the... Okay.
Yeah.
Because of his flavor text.
Yeah. The Goblin Calligrapher is a level 1 Dark Fiend normal with 400 attack and defense, and it says, a goblin who devotes himself to mastering perfect calligraphy of the word false. He gives his all to each stroke.
Which, if you don't know, is a reference to the hit Yu-Gi-Oh card Fake Trap,
Yeah.
apparently. Allegedly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Calligrapher draws the fake trap card. So,
You
you
know,
know,
the-
we've got
the-
our side-by-side comparison.
The trap card every kid thought was insane until they went to until they played for real. I'm like, wait, this card doesn't do anything?
Yeah.
Well, I play
my
it.
favorite old Yu-Gi-Oh
Dud.
cards.
I could play a mirror for.
Well, you couldn't play Mirror Force back in the day. What are you, rich?
Okay, well I guess I could play a negate attack instead.
It's true. That was in a structure deck, I think. But yeah, so comparing the two. One of these is a classic art. If not a Kaz original himself, definitely something that was inspired by his original Yu-Gi-Oh art style. And honestly, the calligraphy is pretty good because it's got like a background, action details. Like it's pretty high quality.
Yeah, look, this goblin looks incredibly icky, but the art is good.
Yeah.
He has a surprising amount of like musculature, that well detailed musculature.
And when we turn to the Memento form, we're still doing some of our own freaky deaky things here. Like he's now wearing a skull on top of his skull.
Still got this fucking tongue out.
Yeah, he's got his tongue out though. He's got more crystals, including in his belly button.
I appreciate that he keeps the gut.
Yeah. He's also now he's got like a little bone shirt. In addition to his bone underoos.
He's got to cover up the nips,
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure if the body's decayed or it's like, I guess, necrotized, but it's like we converted into like, I guess, other material. But I guess it's because it's this weird thing
it's
of
different color shading. It's very similar muscles.
because the helmet has this weird like skin grooves.
It's true. It does match the skin pattern of his hat.
Which just makes me feel like parts of his body just got turned into metal.
Well, bone. Why would there be metal? It's bone and crystal, baby.
Very metal look. It's very like silver looking bone.
You say this about bones all the time. They're bones. They're white.
But this is silver.
Anyway, he has blue crystal. Most of the guys have their own individual crystal themes. Sadly, we lost the background detail, but we have a cool, weird border now.
Yeah, I think it's a thing with all the mementos where they're just kind of in a nebulous space with this slightly generic Aztec border.
Yeah, their lore description does say that they are like born out of the mists of the underworld, so it kind of makes sense. And certainly that, nebulous, YNAMP visualizer type shit is more classic Yu-Gi-Oh! But it is kind of interesting to see the comparison between the two and be like, yeah, this guy lost a lot of background definition, but now he's little crystal footsies.
He also stopped caring about calligraphy, but I guess that happens when you fucking die. And
when you are forgotten and die, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Momentalon Goblin is a Dark Fiend level 4 with 400 attack and defense. Who could have guessed? And it says, during the main phase, if you control Mental Tual... Let me make sure I'm saying this right. Teultika, Combined Creation, Quick Effect. Discard this card. For the rest of this turn, your opponent can't target Memento monsters you control with card effects. So when you control your big guy, you have targeting protection. During your main phase, you can destroy one Memento monster you control. If you do, send up to 2 Memento cards with different names from each other to your deck to the graveyard, except Goblin. You can only use each effective Goblin once per turn. So Goblin has a way to put itself in your graveyard, and while it's on your field, it has the ability to destroy a Memento to do something else. This second effect, Self-Destruction, is their major theme. Most of your little guys blow themselves up to stuff your graveyard and continue your plays.
Yeah, the Memento deck is just kind of it's generally it's generally kind of personified by just these very, I don't want to say convoluted because it leads somewhere, but they have very long combo lines of it looks like they're spinning their wheels for 5 minutes,
yeah,
and then they kill you.
Yeah, or they don't. In my experience,
yeah.
It's one of those decks that, like I said, I feel like it needs a little bit of extra grease on the wheels. Like, it's not a perfect deck right now, but if you have the right shit in your hand, you can do some nasty stuff. I would say that like my personal version of this deck right now is I actually finally finished building my Chimera Fusion deck, my Illusion deck in Master Duel, and it's a lot like that. Like, sometimes if you don't draw the right combo of cards, you're just fucking, I don't know, playing Polymerization and activating illusions and stuff, and all you end up with is, like, a Nightmare Magician on board. But other times it's like, okay, so we've made the Chimera Fusion guy that rips 1, and I got my Chimera Fusion set, and I've got 2 guys on board and 2 guys in hand, so no matter what, when I summon Guardian Chimera, it's a pop 1 or pop 2, and I've got guys engraved to negate effects, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, it's an interesting deck in that its combo lines. It rides this line of linearness, but also flexibility, just because of the way, like, I think a good way to comp it would be Virtual World, maybe.
Yeah, Virtual World's another deck that, like, most of the obvious lines are very obvious. They're very straightforward. But if you get goofed up in Virtual World, there are a lot of weird slant plays you can do to something that's still kind of usable. It may not win you the game, but you're not like... There are so many literally linear combo decks where if your opponent pinches your starter or the wrong extender, you're like, well, the turn is over, and I'm dead.
Yeah, whereas Memento, a negate will still fuck up your board, but you will have an ability to spin your wheels with some level of game plan or like an end goal. You will hit an end result as opposed to just clicking buttons for 5 minutes if you get negated.
Yeah. All right. Ooh, okay. So is this a card that's not in? It doesn't look like we've actually put the original Key Mace in Master Duel. Let me see if I can find the art on the internet.
Oh, in the lore for Memento Goblin, it does actually reference that they couldn't seem to remember a certain word for the unlife of them. Yeah. They have forgotten the false.
Yeah, and now we've pulled up Mementolan Mace, which is based off of Key Mace.
I don't recall if you ever had a card, but this is one of those old vanilla monsters that you saw all over the place in like the Yu-Gi-Oh video games.
Yeah, Key Mace was actually a printed card. Not like a lot. It was in like Booster Series 4. You know.
Sounds about right.
Oh, actually, yeah, no. This was a starter box card in Japan that was reprinted in like tournament packs. And over here it was in like Turbo Pack and World Championship pack. So it got a few prints, but like way later compared to the OCG print. And it is a Master Duel. Okay, so I can grab a high res version of the scan. I don't know why that didn't show up in the search results though, but it's a card that is in a lot of video games, a lot of them. I don't know why, but it is.
Yeah, the one that sticks in my head the most is the Capsule Monster, the Capsule Monster video game.
Yeah. And for a comparison to Goblin, the original Key Mace is a level 1 light fairy with 400 attack and 300 defense. So about the same stat level.
Yeah, I think generally the stats do stay relatively the same between their vanilla comps.
And Key Mace's original flavor text reads, "Enemies' hearts will melt at the sight of this small fairy's cuteness."
Aww.
And so you can see, doing a similar gesture. Again, very classic, like Kaz style art. This one does have a very vague background. And I guess Key Mace got goth. They went to Hot Topic.
They are still able to charm any foe with their innocent smile, though, according to the lore book.
But yeah, no, good extra detail work. Still got kind of a lot of the same vague shapes, like the pointed shoes, but now we've got extra bone plates on them.
I do like the. Crap! It's not a deer skull, like some.
It's more of a goat, I think.
Yeah, goat skull. I was blanking on the animal, but.
It's a massive blow up, honestly.
Yeah, it's a lot more detailed. Unlike Goblin Calligrapher, Key Mace does have some very, very loose shading and details.
I still feel like that when I look at this, that there's still like, I can't tell if is all of his ki meant to be bone.
Yeah. Well, there's some crystal in it, I think, on the tip there.
Yeah.
I'll be real because it just like it feels like the bones around a metal centerpiece. It's because it's like there's I can't they all it looks like metallic bone. So like it just
I mean, it looks generally the same texture and color. It's just a slightly different. I think it's just lighting nonsense because of angles and they
And
probably
it is like perfectly cylindrical in the center, but it's all like roughly the same color palette.
because I bet the homage to the key he's holding. So like
Yeah,
it's just
shaped similar, and it's even got the crystal at the end.
I just think
though,
when
we're
I think
holding
when they
it
make the
other way
bone
around.
shiny, it looks like metal to me.
We've noticed this. Yes, we've been doing fail portrayal for many years.
yeah. It's interesting how the Key Mace's art looks way more simplified compared to Goblin Calligrapher of
Yeah.
all things.
It's wild. But so Memento on Mace is another pretty key one. It's got another hand effect during your opponent's main phase. If you control Combined Creation, quick effect, discard this card, target a monster your opponent controls, a phase-up monster, I should say. Take control of until the end phase. During your main phase, you can destroy a Memento monster. If you do, add a Memento card from your deck to your hand, except Mace. You can use each effect once per turn. So, Mace is one of your good searcher-type cards, though usually not necessarily your best normal summon. Because it does, it give you a search, but you have to pop, obviously. And that is another thing you're going to notice with Mementos is a lot of them are kind of like net neutral card advantage.
Yeah, Memento's biggest downside is that everything in archetype generally goes neutral, which isn't a terrible thing, but it's a lot of hard once per turns too, correct?
Yeah, each effect is usually once per turn.
Yeah, it's sorry, I'm yawning all over the fucking place tonight.
It's fine. I'm coughing.
Yeah, we're all gunked up tonight.
I'm. I guess I just have bad takes.
All right, you don't need to do yourself in like that.
I mean, you guys were yelling at me about it anyway.
We weren't really yelling, but yeah,
I don't want to yell right now.
Mementos have just like the flaw of, as we come across a lot, they're a little too fair in their advantage building, but they can still make solid boards and can be general decent powerhouses, especially when we get to like their
once we get to their big guy, like they have a payoff.
If anyone's watched Faster and Faster, you can kind of see that. But okay, this time this actually looks like bone.
This is just Karibo.
So this is Memento Ghost.
I like
The wretched ghost of the attic.
I like the thing of you can see like the crystalline where it's like it grew out of them.
Yeah, no, that's a good little detail.
It helps. It helps.
He's got
it helps
little
specify.
bonified his hands. But yeah, this is Mentolan Gatic. Its name in the OCG is Memento Uramon because Gatic is a contraction of Ghost from the Attic, and Uramon is, the Japanese phrase for Ghost in the Attic.
Yeah, the Yane Ura no Mononoke.
Yeah.
So Uramon.
So he's a weird little attic ghost. In fact, that's basically his flavor text. Wretched Ghost is a level 2 Dark Fiend, 550 attack, 400 defense. Armless monster found lurking in just about any attic. He's just in attics.
He's just chilling. He's just messing around.
Yeah.
Doing the stuff.
And technically, Ghost in the Attic is the vanilla souped up form of Karibo, because he's bigger than Karibo. He's
Oh,
level
he
2.
is?
Yeah, Karibo's 300, 200. That's their stat line. Gatic and its original form are 550 and 400. Mementolon Gatic is one of your starters, though. I don't really have anything else to add about his art. He's a Karibo, but
Look,
Oni.
you all have seen Karibo 7 billion times. You saw one a few weeks ago when we were reviewing Galaxy.
Yeah,
We still yet to review all the Krivos, though, I think.
it's true.
But we'll get there.
But I'm sure that will be some episode sometime. But he's got little Pac-Man eyes. That's it. I do like that their vague nebulous backgrounds do have some kind of similar color schemes this time. That's cute.
I'm only not noticing, like it's kind of similar in the background art of the original, but his fur is almost like wispy
Yeah.
on like shade in his Memento version,
Yeah. He's got like some extra wisp and shadow.
like wispy tendril nonsense. For some reason, they seem to be restless and nervous, and often hid behind things, like they were in an attic.
Just
According
looking
to
for-
our handy dandy lore book.
Yeah. So, Gaddock is one of your normal summons. If this card is normal summoned, because, hey, once again, it's a Dark Fiend level 2, it's got all the same stats. If this card's normal summoned, you can target a Memento in your graveyard, accept Gaddock, add it to your hand. This card's sent to the graveyard by a Memento monster's effect. You can special summon this card. You can use each effect once per turn. So, if it's sent, it's an extender. And if it's summoned, it summons from graveyard, though obviously you have to have a way to get engraved first. This is another thing that, like I said about the deck, is your Whittle guys have interesting effects, but they can only put themselves in the graveyard where you want them if you already have a combined creation, which is a little awkward. I get what the game design was going for, but since spoilers, combined creation wants you to have X number of names in your graveyard. In order for that to work, you need to get them out of your hand, and like most of them aren't worth spending a normal summon on because they don't intrinsically do something when normal summoned. So it's just one of those slightly awkward things.
As Omega mentioned, I don't think we're not gonna bring up the stats of the Mementos because their vanilla counterparts have the exact same stats. I believe even down to their typing and attributes, like they are all the same. They are just part of an archetype now, basically, and have an effect.
But yeah. All right. So this is a card that's our next card is in Master Duel, but well, the Memento version obviously is in both, but her vanilla form is not released in the TCG, but is in Master Duel. This is Memento Lan Anguich.
I did pull up Fairy Witch, or it's interesting that it's called Fairy Witch, but it doesn't have an English release, so it should just be Angel Witch.
Yeah, is it? Let me run back.
Oh, you know what? I've seen this art. This is definitely the same as Keymace, where it's probably in like fucking Duels of the
Yeah, I'm
Roses
looking
or
at the
some
list.
nonsense.
She's in like Duel Monsters, Dark Duel Stories, Forbidden Memories.
Okay, yeah,
Battle of the Great
that's where her
Duelists,
name
Duels
comes
to
from, then.
Roses, Sacred Cards, EDS, etc. So like, in games as late as Tag Force, and obviously included in Duel Links for some reason. So, you know, definitely put those extra details out there. But yeah, this is a card that has no official vanilla release, and they went with Anguich in English for the Memento because her name is Angel Witch in the OCG, but it's usually been translated as Fairy Witch. Pretty typical stuff.
You know, works out. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Anguich makes sense.
It's a massive globe, and I don't know why, but I look at this and I think of AI, and I feel weird about that.
Nah, she's doing her own thing. This is definitely drawn.
I
It is
appreciate like they
a
changed
lot
the
of
skin
extra work.
tone and like to make it contrast the yellow better, and then like did more of an actual natural golden blonde.
Yeah, her angel wings are bone.
Yeah.
With the same yellow. It's like yellow green or something.
Yeah.
They give her heels because her legs have become crystal stumps.
Yeah. And you couldn't see her legs before in the other art.
Yeah.
The posing of this, by the way, is noted as being similar to another weird old vanilla monster, Mystical Sand, which was Mystic Elf plus Giant Soldier of Stone.
I kind of like how like the bones look like something's just grabbing her for the.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting little crest, but it's still got like the little point to it because she is wearing a pointy little hat. It's a deep red robe. But yeah, it's funny because like her broom already looks kind of like a spine. I assume it's supposed to be bamboo, but it's still like segmented in the original art, and it's still segmented in the new art, but now it's way more creepy-fied.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Let me pull up Fairy Witch's flavor
Another big,
text.
great glow up. Though I
Though
admit the
destined
turtleneck.
to be a fairy, this creature chose the way of the witch instead.
Yeah, that's
And,
basically the original Fairy Witch's flavor text.
No, that was the original
Oh,
flavor
yeah, sorry.
text. Armento, she loathed fate. She was a witchy girl going her own way.
Actually, in there.
Yeah.
Huh.
I will say, slight loss of the turtleneck on the robe, but it's still very, very clingy. But yeah, so Fairy Witch is despite being called fairy, she is a dark spellcaster because she went down the path of a witch. She's a level 3, 800, 1K, and then Anguish is the same way. Anguish says if she's normaled or specialed, add a memento from your deck to your hand except Anguish. You can target a level 2 or lower memento monster in your graveyard, destroy a memento monster you control if you do special summon. So Anguish is another really important starter.
Yeah.
On summon, she adds a card, and also she gets to destroy the cycle cards. But again, you need guys in graveyard already. That's like the primary thing I felt when running the deck, which is there's not a really good way to kickstart getting guys in your graveyard unless you drew exactly Darkblade.
Like,
we'll
like
talk about.
Darkblade or just any random generic nonsense like Foolish
Yeah.
Burial.
Yeah. And actually, we'll talk about Darkblade next.
Probably the member of Mento that everybody knows because he's all over the fucking place in old Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, he's in a lot of
I remember like
card
when I was a
arts.
kid. Yes, it was like Panther Warrior.
Darkblade's
Again.
in a lot of card arts and lures.
It's a very cool glow up.
And yeah, no, this Darkblade is sick.
This guy's also had a few glow ups already.
Yeah.
He has, yeah. He's had like he's been all over the place in like Union shit, right? Like him and Pitch Dark Dragon or something.
Yeah,
was
he's got
it?
the Dark Dragon guy involved, Pitch Dark Dragon, and I think there's another one. There's a fusion version of him, of like riding the dragon.
Oh yeah,
Pretty sure.
Pitch Dark Dragon, Kiryu, not the Kazuma, just
Did you-
Kiryu.
Did you pair this to his like other Arcblade's other glow ups?
Well, his only other one is Darkblade, the Captain of the Evil World, which
Yeah,
is pretty hardcore of a
Oh, yeah,
name.
Dark World.
but is still
it's-
like very.
It's not really
funny.
a great art of him, I would say personally. His like remaster. He's just more.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that version's even spikier. But it is funny that like in 2012, right? They gave him a retrain. An incredibly, as we discussed, overwrought retrain where he's fucking Yamimakai no Senshito Dark Sword. Dark Sword, the warrior captain of the Dark Demon world. AKA Darkblade, captain of the evil world. It's crazy. But yeah, he's got, his fusion mode. He's got the multiple extra guys. He, is supposed to be part of the Makai world, king of Yamimakai and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm posting a Velvet Trail. Just if we want to show it off, because it's a lot to look at, honestly.
Yeah, no, I looked at his spikitude. We don't need to see.
You can you
It's
all can
outrageous,
look up.
but I like it. And how
You can
it's
look
just,
at
like a
Captain
lot.
of the Evil World if you want to get flash banged
Yeah.
by gold.
He's
And
wearing,
spiked.
the metal silver armor in the original print, and then now he's, bona fide. But still got a lot of the same vibes, a lot of the same spikes. Although now he's got like hot rod flames for crystals, and his swords are crystals, which is really cool.
We'll
So
say
he's chilling.
the bone does look like bone in this one.
But he's big Vibin.
I do love his crystal swords.
Yes, the
Yeah,
crystal
they're very
swords,
cool.
especially with the color, are really good.
I feel like they'd fragment, but like they're cool. They're very, very sharp. It's like obsidian.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're real sharp. But yeah, so Memento Dark Sword or Memento Dark Blade, depending on which language you're in, both are because one of the reasons I think why Dark Blade was so popular was because he was a Dark Warrior back in the day who was an 1800 vanilla. So this is our first case of that. Which good on
Yeah,
them
he
for
was
not
just a
cherry picking
guy.
all the best like vanilla beaters from back in the day.
Yeah, it was like Battle Ox, Gemini Elf, Dark Blade,
Yeah. Not
Mechanical
that Konami.
Mechanical Chaser.
Mechanical Chaser. Not that I'm saying I don't want Crystal Goth Mommy Gemini elves. But good on you for not going to the obvious, going to bat here and picking some truly obscure ass shit. But Darkblade's a good guy to pick because he keeps, the 1800, 1500 defense, by the way. So, like, decent stat line. It's still a Dark Warrior, so you can run Rhoda in this deck to search him, and all those other wombo combos. You can put him in your graveyard with Armageddon Knight if you're down bad, shit like that. Darkblade, Memento Line Darkblade says if he's normal or special, discard a Memento card, target a spell trap your opponent controls, destroy it. During your main
just
phase,
good.
you can destroy a Memento you control. If you do, special summon a level 3 or lower from your deck. Both these are good, yeah. The primary problem, I think, with Darkblade is just, he's a going second card. Your Memento, I think, is a pretty uniquely flexible deck in that it probably doesn't care if you're going second or first. They have, like, a Battle Mania type trick to basically force your opponent to attack your big guy and a way to turn your big guy into negates. So you can go first, but also you can go second and summon a 5k beater and just beat your opponent's teeth in,
Yeah.
So, either way works, but Darkblade's a really good card because he is interaction. He's a spell trap pop. He also, lets you discard on normal or special. And he fetches guys out from graveyard to, keep going by destroying. He's doing a good one. All right. So it's time for another one.
The best part of Darkblade, like I said, it's just he has insane flexibility and just he's a Dark Warrior. Like what else is there to say about fucking Dark Warriors? They do everything.
Yeah,
Dark Warrior was just a deck for the longest time.
Yeah, I remember those old Table 500 episodes.
Here is the true creature of Fail Betrayal.
Yeah,
tonight.
get ready for this guy. So you're seeing the Memento Lan
Tatsuno
Tatsuno Tochigo, which is a the really convoluted way to say seahorse, because there he is. There's seahorse. Wow. Old school ass Yu-Gi-Oh art.
Yeah, this guy's in Berserk. That's all I'll say.
Oh, I remember that part.
So literally that guy's name in Japanese is Shihosu, seahorse. But it was assumed, I think, and it was utilized when it did show up a couple of places in video games as the classic upper deck trick of, well, if the name's just the name in English, we would translate it in, Japanese. So they went with Tatsuno Toshigo, which is, the, again, slightly convoluted way to say seahorse in Japanese. It means
you went on the first part from
dragon's lost
Tatsunoko.
Yeah.
And even Tatsunekro. But yeah.
But yeah, this guy is a guy. Look at this art.
Yeah,
he's in a pea soup. He's got beady little eyes.
His tongue is out. His tongue is out and about.
His teeth are solid blocks with just a little bit of lines for emphasis. And somehow they keep the majesty of that original in the Memento version, but also make him look 1,000% better.
Yeah. First off, it's not a full frontal shot of this horse whinnying and flapping his tongue out about it.
Yeah, he still does have the tongue out, but it's a lot less prominent in the art. We've added extra detail of, like, swirling water bubbles. We've got, like, some ambient occlusion in there, some god rays. We added some extra spines to his tail, which is good, Gave him glowing eyes, so I can't see how soulless like doll's eyes they are. Yeah, no, we don't like this guy.
Yeah, like we really don't. This guy doesn't need to stay on.
Also, by the way,
on
Seahorse is a fucking Earth Beast level 5. By the way.
Yep.
Not even a fish. It's a beast.
He's a horse.
Yeah, it's a shitty vanilla level 5 too. So it's 1350, 1600. Terrible stats. It does say it's a bizarre monster with the torso of a horse and a fish's tail. It gallops through the sea as if it were the wind. Yeah, no, it's blah. But the Memento version is all that, and also it says if you don't control any face-up monsters other than Mementos, you can special summon it from your hand, so it's a Sidra type effect. Thank God, because it is still level 5.
Proud to be the fastest of the underworld. However, it tended to trip and fall apart.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have back legs. And of course, during your main phase, you can destroy a Memento monster you control. Then you can send any number of Memento monsters with different names from your deck to the graveyard whose total levels are less than or equal to the destroyed monster's original level. You can use each effect once per turn. Again, this guy's great. In Archetype, this guy's great. He's a free special. You blow himself up so you can send, like, 2/2/1 or, like, 3/2, 4/1, like, great. Great for loading the graveyard. But let's move along to our not our last per se, but one of our last main deckmen. Before we talk about some of the guys who came out most recently. Honestly, what probably sold me pretty good on this archetype as a vibe. You'll probably recognize this guy once we pull him up. But it's time for Mementolon Horned Dragon.
Which is, when it pops up, he might be pretty easily recognizable.
But yeah, you probably recognize this bozo as Tri-Horned Dragon, a Playground classic.
The original. The original vanilla jackass.
Yeah. One of the classic bozos. He was a secret rare in Legend of Blue Eyes. Tri-Horned Dragon is a Dark Dragon level 8, 2850, 2350.
I never really looked at his artwork zoomed up. I did not realize that his Tri-Horn is just like it's just like a trident.
Yeah, no. It is very tridentary.
Yeah, and you summon him and he dies to Fisher. Correct, Caesar.
Yes. His original flavor text reads, an unworthy dragon with 3 sharp horns sprouting from its head. Really writing out to the kids at home that you didn't pull the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Wow, damn.
It was concerned about how scary and diabolic its face looked. He's sad. Like, but
yeah.
don't be scared of him. He's
but no,
just a little guy.
This is a really cool look. Like, the original obviously is a classic Yu-Gi-Oh! Dragon. Look at his, his underbite, his extra horns. He's all big and scaly. Fucking red and blue color scheme. And then the new guy is like, here's your bone plates. The horns are now like growing out of his head like crystal coral almost, which I really love. His underbite's like a little smaller, but it still looks like way better proportioned.
Well, and they managed to make his underbite look fairly menacing because he's also emitting this black miasma from his mouth.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of the black smoke coming out of his mouth and his arms. He's also got like the fucking red eye glow tracking. There's these little like charred black embers around him, which is a really good but really small little detail. No, he's looking great. Good glow up. But yeah, so Memento on Horned Dragon is a, all the same stats. And he says, if you have 3 or more Memento monsters with different names in your graveyard, you can special summon this guy from your hand. You can only special summon one Memento Horned Dragon per turn this way. Just, if he's also Dark Armed Dragon. You got 3 guys, summon them. If this card on the field is destroyed by card effect, target 3 face-up cards on the field, including a Memento you control, destroy them.
He's also like a really shitty Trish, but still a good effect.
Yeah. I mean, he's more like an Icarus attack, basically.
Yeah, Icarus attack. Yeah,
if
he's
he
easier
gets
to get
popped,
than Trish.
pop him.
Yeah.
But that could be pretty spicy, especially because a lot of your guys, trigger when destroyed. They want to be blown up in graveyard, and you can get extra effects off that proc. But yeah, he's a pretty tough boy. Do we want to go to their fusion monster first, or do we want to talk about Big Chungus?
I say we talk about the big asshole because what was the fusion part of the base?
Let me double check. I think Twin Dragon was in it. They do have a second one that's come out later, but let me see if I can find him easily. Memento, Twin Dragon. Oh no, okay, yeah, that was later in lead. Yeah, so we would have seen Big Chungus first. Because that guy has always been your end goal.
Yeah, so it's time for the guy who is not a vanilla monster.
Yeah. And we did name check him before because he was name checked by the 2 level 1s. But here he is. Here's the big guy himself. It's Mementoal Teculita Combined Creation. Or in the OCG, Dark Corpse Combined Dragon, Mementoal Teculita.
Now, this guy has a lot going on. I would say it's too much, but I kind of still dig it.
Yeah, like, it's one of those things where I look at it and I'm like, oh, I really should be upset that, like, he's got every color of the rainbow in him, right? Like, that's too many colors. That doesn't work. But I still like him.
I honestly image this guy as like a kaiju that you'd find only in a kaiju fighting game, a kaiju like brawler or fighting game, or an FGO boss.
Yeah, I mean this guy may actually be an FGO boss. We'll see in 6 months. But yeah, he's large and charged. He's got big wings. He's got fucking T-Rex skulls for hands. He's got his own little skull. It's great. Like, this is the Arca, what do we call it? The aesthetic legacy of Subterrors that I've been looking forward to. He's just absolutely decked in skulls. He's got a skull at his crotch. He's got shoulder skulls. Surprised he doesn't have a skull on his wings, but he's fucking slapping.
Now, this guy, he's level 11. He's an earth worm. With 5k attack and defense.
Yeah. I did mention
He's a
that
big
earlier if
ass.
you were paying attention, but this guy is a big chungus.
Yeah.
He cannot be normal summoned or set.
I missed you name checking his stats.
Yeah, I mentioned it as an aside earlier when we were talking about the game plan. Like, they make a really big guy. He can't be normal summoned or set. He must be special summoned from your hand or graveyard by shuffling 5 other Memento monsters with different names from your hand and or graveyard into the deck/extra deck. While you control other monsters, this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can special summon 1 Memento from your hand or graveyard. So, basically, the primary way you get this guy out is you foolish him into your graveyard, and you have to have guys in hand or grave, not in field, and shuffle him back. You can summon him. There are a couple ways to cheat him out, but the primary way is you have your graveyard set up, or you're able to hold on to a bunch of guys in hand. And it's combined, so, you can have a couple guys left in hand and have a couple guys, in grave. And you summon a big guy. That big guy, first of all, is a, soft once per turn extension to special summon an extra Memento, and then is just an attacker. He's a 5k guy who can attack each monster your opponent controls. That hurt. That's painful. They get a couple little
Yeah,
guys
no,
that can
like
be game over.
I recall when the meals were first coming out, like they were first announced, like you're kind of like reading through all these random cute little guys, like, oh, okay, like it's a cute archetype, and you get to get this guy, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
it's just like they're because their fusion monster came out later. You know, their highest attack point guy is Trihorned Dragon as like a dad, and you're like, okay, all right, that's a reasonable boss monster. You know, like you know, a reasonable extra guy, and then you're like, oh no.
You scroll down a little further, and you get flashbanged by this monstrosity.
And he's a large guy, and a lot of their deck is about getting him out there. So now you understand the context of, you know, Mace and Goblin. You know, Goblin makes him untargetable. Mace lets you fucking steal one of your opponent's monsters to like push for the OTK. Or prevents your opponent from interacting with him more likely, because it is on your opponent's turn. I think only key you can activate key, but like. Your goal is to set up your hand and graveyard so you can summon this guy. My primary problem playing this deck in Master Duel with the Loner was having this guy in my hand or graveyard to summon him, because the ability to bin 5 names and also get him in play is tough sometimes. There's a couple ways to do it, but and we'll be talking about spell traps later, but yeah, it's definitely very rewarding though, because you get a big guy.
You get like the biggest guy.
Yeah.
Like there are not many main deck monsters that I think have a stat line quite like him.
Yeah, no, he's got a stat like he's fucking 5-God Dragon, and that's not normal. You don't normally get to that in your main deck.
Yeah, I just looked it up. For 5k attack assholes. We have Alpha Draconids, as mentioned a little while ago when we covered Drytron. Rocket Arrow Express, which I don't think is ever actually attacking. This guy is fake.
No.
Dystopia the Despondent, who needs 4 face-up level 1 monsters to be sent from the field to the graveyard to summon him.
Yeah.
Huh.
And Malefic Truth Dragon, the Malefic boss monster.
Yeah, so it's an uncommon stat line that's can be quite rewarding to get there. But we do have, like I said, they added an extra deck, and of course, they made it a fusion. I appreciate this. There's so many shitty old vanilla fusions you could retrain for this archetype. The first one we have is Memento on Twin Dragon, who is, of course, lovingly based on Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon.
I think this is
having
cooler.
the weird back mouth.
Because they were doing the whole thing of it's like... I think it does that because the whole thing of like it's meant to be like the 2 dragons together, but
yeah, it's
entirely
two-
different
two-
art, so...
It's 2 Thunder Dragons, but they look very different. But yeah, no, they're here. You can see
When
lightning
you combine
around.
green with green, you get like baby red. I don't know what to call this shade of red.
Yeah, it's weird. But you know, he's got the green and the yellow in his crystal form. He's got lightning on his horn, you know, and lightning in his background, which is just like the Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon. Like, it's, you know, another really good
They also even like it does a very good job of like one I like that they mirror the pose, and just because they just cover him in bones, they're able to hide some of the awkward anatomy that was of the original Twin Thunder Dragon. Of it just being an ancient early Yu-Gi-Oh design.
which does, by the way, have a, you know, spiritual clone in the form of Two-Mouth Dark Ruler also, which is a dinosaur normal. I showed him briefly on screen. A real freak, that guy. But yeah, so we get to kind of compensate for some of the oddities of his construction. He's still got, you know, the bright green tongue. Got kind of the weird legs. But he's out here. So this is a fusion monster. The original Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon is, you know, a fusion of Thunder Dragon and Thunder Dragon. It's, you know, pretty basic stuff. It's a light Thunder Fusion, level 7, 2800 attack, 2100 defense. So still smaller than Trihorn. The Memento Lon version has the exact same stats, though that one is, almost completely generic. It's just 2 Memento monsters, so any of your 2s can become him. Any monster destroyed by battle with your Memento monster is banished. Go to hell with ye. You can change the following effects once per turn. If this card is fusion summoned, destroy a Memento in your hand or face-up field. If you do, add 2 Memento monsters with different names for your deck to your hand. If this fusion summon card is destroyed, you can special summon 1 level 6 or lower Memento from your graveyard. So he floats, and also on summon, you can pop a guy, including a guy in your hand, to add 2.
And level 6 or lower gets you basically everything.
Yeah. The only thing it won't get you is Big Chongus or Trihorn.
Yeah, and I don't think you can even actually regularly summon this guy through Twin Dragon, so it doesn't even matter. You're only locked out from Trihorn.
Yeah. Combined Creation says can't be normal summoned or set, so unless it you either have to summon it with its effect or at least one of their spell cards. I think only one says.
It does say must be summoned from your hand by shuffling. It doesn't say must first be, so I think it has to be summoned through its effect, and only that way.
There is a card that says ignoring its summoning conditions they've got, but it's a specific one. But yeah, so that's their original wave of guys. Pretty good utility, some pretty funny stuff going on, but. Recently released in the OCG, they also, in the Infinite Forbidden, are adding some more guys. So let's see if we can pull up a card art, because these guys aren't in Master Duel yet.
That reminds me of a thing I made where it's called the Infinite of the Nothing. It's kind of the same sentiment.
Well, Infinite Forbidden is just Big Zodia. Let's make this like 80% as big. So this is presumably going to be called the Memento Lon Mystic Sheep, because it is based on Mystic Sheep numbers 1 and or 2, which the Mystical Sheep number 2 was called just Sleepy in the OCG.
Just Sleepy?
Not even Sleepy Sheep?
No, it's just called Sleepy.
Oh yeah, no, it's just Sleepy.
It's got like the whole... Oh yeah, it has the whole mesmer. Yeah.
Oh, I never even realized that it has a little pendulum.
Yeah, it's so maliciously doing it too.
But the card that was called Mystical Sheep number 1 in the TCG is known as Illusion Sheep. Is also doing the exact same thing, so he's another like art clone. But yeah, so I'll admit that the one that's probably going to be called, Memento Lon Mystic Sheep, looks a lot more like a rat.
One second. I know it's not the card we're covering. That Mystical Sheep number 1 had an effect text, although it was listed as a vanilla monster.
It's a fusion substitute. Sorry,
but it had the vanilla monster like.
It does.
I think the color's kind of faded.
That's fair. I was just like, hang on.
Yeah, no, it's a beast effect.
Okay.
But yeah, this sheep looks a lot more like a rat, and also the original version, I'm thankful you can't see it in the new version, absolutely caked up. What the fuck?
I couldn't process that, so it's not.
But yeah, this guy's a weird little freak. Again, kind of a glow up, like his fur, lost a little of its detail. It's a little like more coat-like.
Does the gem color correspond to anything accordingly?
Not specifically. It's just that they usually have a unique gem color.
Because it's like this is the same gem color as the Kribo, which is like I wonder if it's like the smaller ones have green.
No, this one's a level 3, so it's not like a 1-to-1.
It does list on the wiki Mystical Sheep as light green and Gaddock as dark green.
I think they're slightly different ones. So it's
they're slightly different shades, but it's
rainbow.
It's a little hard to tell with Gaddock because there's so little green compared to his design.
And obviously, like Thunder Dragon already used yellow and green at the same time, so it's not like they're being very strict, but they do have slight differentiations. But yeah, now he's got his weird pendulum, though now it's a crystal, you know, and it's dealing a little crystal string. He looks just as evil as ever. He's gross. I hate him. 10 out of 10, no notes.
Yeah.
So, being based on Mystical Sheep number 2, that's another Earth Beast, level 3, 800 attack, 1000 defense. So the Mentalon version is the exact same way. It says, if a monster's in your possession is destroyed by card effects this turn, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. This card's normal or special, except during the damage step. You can fusion summon a Memento fusion monster from your extra deck by using monster in your hand or field as material. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can send a Memento deck from your card to the deck to the graveyard, except Mystical Sheep. You can only use each effect once per turn. So,
it's very funny.
Yeah.
It's very funny that even though it is the other Mystical Sheep, that it's also a fusion monster. It's also like a fusion-related card.
Yeah, it's funny how they made it fusion-related. And it's a pretty funny fusion, because basically this guy substitutes your fusion spell, which they did already have, obviously. So now he's just on normal or special, which can be on your opponent's turn. If your opponent blows up one of your Memento monsters, you can quick effect summon this guy and fuse in the middle of your opponent's turn. That's very funny. And also, if it's, destroyed, you can then also bin a guy. So this is just another good case of, this is another all-around good support card to actually, bring in and keep involved.
Oh my god. No. Oh, damn.
So let's go hunting for their other new card that was announced. And actually, like I said, I think he technically came out already. Info is out in the OCG.
I'll be right back.
Okay. This guy's probably going to be huge, so give me a sec to resize him, Chateau. Okay, he's not that big. Fits. So this is Mento Mictlan Tekulita. Combined Conqueror. Dark Corpse King.
I was gonna say Eldritch. I think Eldritch found his neighbor.
Oh, yeah. This is the guy telling Eldritch to get off his fucking lawn. This guy is rad as hell. He's like on a spine rising up out of the ground.
I want this
what
and Eldritch as I want this and Eldritch to be as a version of these two guys looking at each other like the Infinite Divine cover.
This is Combined Conqueror. This is their new fusion monster. Look at this boy. He's got a big hat. It's made of crystal.
This guy is just this is Acerak. This is just a D&D lich.
He is crystalline, yeah. He's got a cool staff that's also got a skull on it, so it's cool. I mentioned this before, but I'll say it again. I love that he's just got his spine reaching out of a pile of bones and goo on the ground. This guy's cool.
Yeah.
So this is their second fusion monster. This is a level 9 Earth Illusion fusion.
This guy is just the iconic D&D lich asshole.
Yeah. He's level 9, but he's 3k, 2k. Materials are 3 Memento monsters. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Add 1 Memento Mictlan, which is their field spell we'll talk about in a second, from your deck to your hand. You cannot activate the following effects of Combined Conqueror in the same chain. If this card is fusion summoned, send 3 Memento cards from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. Quick effect. You can target an equal number of Memento monsters you control and cards your opponent controls. Destroy those assholes. You can use each effect once per turn. So, this guy lets you pitch guys from your extra deck or deck, including letting you pitch extra copies of him so you can banish him while still having him on the field. And he lets you blow up your opponent's board. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good guy. For a 3-mat fusion, which means that you're putting more guys in graveyard to set up your guys. It's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I don't really have much to say about this guy. I'm just taking in this design still.
Nah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, they're like, again, like in the same facet of our combined creation where this guy has too much colors, he should not work, but he just looks so good. Like it's a lot of colors, but it's I don't recall if they actually mentioned the exact phrasing, but despite all of the colors, they're using them sparingly. They're not overwhelming us because he still has a lot of white and black as his base because he's bone and cloth and fabric. That like that all the various colors being peppered in are just little flares, they're little flourishes.
They also do a really neat thing I like where they play a lot with like two-toned colors in the crystal. Like his fingertips are kind of like dark orange to more of a lighter orange. He's got kind of like purple to
like
red.
A lime, like cherry limeade. He's got cherry limeade horns.
Like, you know.
Go.
No, it's fine. I was just gonna talk about the purple and red. Go for it.
I just think I love it. It's a very majestic grace, just how it is. It's a lot, but it's like in a way where it's like not overwhelming, I guess.
Yeah, you can really feel the scale of this guy.
Like each thing is there for a reason. It's not like there's just stuff there. It's the way to put it.
Yeah.
Like it's not. It's like it's weird to say it's a lot, but it's not cluttered.
Yeah, he's got a big crystal ring behind him. And I'm pretty sure that design owes to the field spell, which was mentioned on the search. This is it. This is the Memento Mictlan.
Is it supposed to be like Teotihuacan, or is it just like?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be more of the Mictlan, the lowest section of the underworld.
Yeah, Mictlan. Okay, yeah.
Which is known as in the OCG Dark Corpse Temple Mementolan. But yeah, no, it's a big spooky temple with hey, that guy we just saw on the wall.
Yeah, no, he's just chilling there on the wall. He has not been made real just yet.
But there's just piles of crystals and bones, baby. Nah, it's a good look. So this is their field spell. It says, if your Memento monster battles, your opponent can't activate spell traps until the end of the damage step, so it turns all your guys into Ancient Gears.
I made these.
If a monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, target one of those cards, one of those monsters. Special summon a Memento with a lower level from your hand or graveyard. You can use each effect once per turn. And then once per turn during your end phase, target a Memento spell trap in your graveyard. Set it.
Funny. Just infinite recycling. Always great.
No,
always hilarious.
Just turns this deck into, I think what the idea with it being so like heavily graveyard themed is just a really frustrating, resource loop to chew through. Their idea is they send like 5 guys to graveyard, they shuffle them all back with Big Chungus, with Combined Creation, and then you just got to deal with those guys again. Like, if the game's not over, your opponent still has stuff. And this deck's really light on needing its extra and does not have a lot of special summon locks. Like, there's a couple, but for the most part, it's like...
Oh my god.
You can just
is
play
that a
Fusion.
Dallas?
Oh.
Hi, Dallas is here.
It's been years. It's been decades, Dallas. Where have you been?
School.
Fair enough.
That's
It
not precision. I
never
had
explains
school on
anything.
Tuesdays.
School. It's a process.
School has let out.
But yeah, you've missed most of the monsters, but we're talking about Memento.
Okay, uno momento. I need to put up this. I didn't do that on purpose.
You probably should have stuck to your gut and said you did do it on purpose. But yeah, so the Memento deck kind of like builds a system where you bin all your guys to the graveyard, and obviously with spell traps it works with their field spell as well, and then you just get them back. You just put them back. These guys, are in the underworld, they don't die. Yeah. To catch you up, Dallas, the primary thing is their big main deck boss monster Combined Creation is a 5k guy who can only be special summoned by shuffling back 5 different names from your hand or graveyard.
Okay.
So, yeah, you put a lot of little guys.
And is that the one on screen?
No, this is their field spell, Mementolan.
Ah. Okay, I'm gonna pull up the list.
But they got a few more. spells and traps. And this first one, I think, kind of emphasizes, I think, what they're going for thematically. This is called Momentolan Boneback. Literally Memento Boneback in the OCG. Here you can see Tatsuno Tsugo reboning. He's reforming. He's becoming
It's a horse
reboned.
with a mohawk.
Yeah, horses have veins.
Right.
His mane is crystal. But yeah, so I guess the idea is even if you bust up their bone forms, they just come back.
Okay.
So this is a quick play that says, if a face-up Memento monster you control leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, special summon a combined creation from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. So this is one of the ways you get to cheat out the big guy. If your opponent moves a Memento monsters out of your graveyard while this card's in your graveyard, except during the damage step, banish this card. Special summon as many Memento monsters as possible with different names for your hand and or deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. I love this card's graveyard effect because it's such a specific punish. Like, this is a deck.
Yeah, it's such a specific punish that it exists for like either an anime moment, which this deck is not an anime deck, or just to punish your opponent for being an idiot and not reading your cards.
Yeah, so there are dark monsters. I mean, there's some lights, but mostly it's darks that matter. So that means Bestials are online. It's a problem lots of decks have. They can't dodge Bestials. And just in general, this is a graveyard deck, which means usually you lose to targeted graveyard hate. So they gave them a card that says, hey, if your opponent tries to, like, pinch your guys out of the graveyard one at a time, you're going to fucking kill them. You're going to summon 5 guys from your deck, and they're going to cry.
I like the way cards like this are designed, because it's like, in older sets, like, this card would just be the graveyard effect, and you would almost never use it. But because it's a twofold effect, it's a graveyard effect and a normal effect, you actually have a reason to run the card.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like realistically, if it was just the graveyard effect, you would Foolish Burial Goods this card, and your opponent would just go, "Okay, I'm not gonna touch your graveyard now."
But now you've got a card where, like, hey, guess what? Your opponent removing your cards, pretty normal. So it's a quick play. You can set up and then be like, all right, cool. My 5k guy's here now. He's very big. And then even if they get out that guy, you know, because, you know, you probably weren't planning on setting him up, or they, you know, snipe it while it's face down or something, you're like, cool, now if you fuck with my graveyard, you're dead. Their next...
Eat shit and fall off your seahorse.
Yeah. Their next one was our thumbnail image. It's Memento Bone Party.
Oh, right. I forgot about this guy. This card.
And
You're
it's
just having a raid.
Yeah, Mace and Goblin having a fun time.
What the... Sorry, the art on one of them is
Yeah.
Is it possibly a Tatsuno Toshigo?
Is that the one in the back?
No, I think he's thinking about the Goblin.
You mean on this card?
Yeah, on this card.
Yeah, Memento Goblin. It's Goblin Calligrapher, baby.
He's meant to be that gribbly.
You
That
know,
art is unsettling.
all of the monsters in his archetype, aside from like the boss monsters, are retrained vanillas, just covered in crystals and bones.
That's kind of great.
Yeah.
One of them is Darkblade. It's just Darkblade.
And
Well, is it Darkblade or is it Warrior Digraph or what? Or whoever the fuck it is?
No, it is Darkblade.
no, you know, he's literally Memento
Oh,
One
right. No,
Darkblade.
that's Gearfried is what I was thinking.
Yeah,
of.
you're thinking Gearfried.
There's also Underworld Fighter Balmung, who's very similar to Darkblade, but it's not that guy either. This is Key Mason, you know, Goblin Calligrapher. Their first fusion monster was a fusion that was a retrain of Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon, but in archetype. So, like, lots of funny, like, nostalgia bait, but in a way that's not, like, trying to make old, useless cards, like, work. It's, you know, gives you the aesthetic appeal, but also does new things.
Yeah, because, like...
Oh, good.
all these guys are vanilla, so they didn't have effects, and they're being tossed in a single archetype instead of like what we do with Performapal, Odd Eye, Synchron, Goki, Pole. I don't know, like
Yeah.
we just throw names on cards and hope it works.
It's the better approach to nostalgia, where you just take a card. It's like, this card was really popular and people really liked it, and it kind of sucks now. Let's remake it so people can have the nostalgia, but we don't have to do some weird, awkward crap to make it like viable.
And like, aside from Dark Blade, I would barely call this a nostalgia archetype, because I don't think people were fiending for a Goblin Calligrapher retrain.
No, it's
Yeah.
more
Or
like
Wretched Ghost in the end.
hey, do you remember this weird little guy? Like, I think that's why it's called Memento.
It's-
They're
it's
literally
more-
asking you, hey, do you remember this guy?
Yeah, it's more of like, it's literally a pile of like fossilized carcasses, like made
Yeah,
reanimated.
I have a weird nostalgia for Trihorn Dragon, but that's mostly because of how bad it is.
Well, that's because Golden Nova made it popular again.
Well, no, that's not what
No,
Dallas thinks.
no,
Dallas,
this
Dallas
is
just
even
has
in-
nostalgia because I'm sure he opened some Trihorn Dragons in his day.
I mean, we did. It's on your channel.
Yeah, I know.
I did open 3 of them during that.
We remember that guy. Yeah. By the way, what Bone Party does, it's another quick play. It says, destroy a Memento monster in your hand or face-up field. Take a Memento from your deck with a different name. Either add it or special summon it in defense position. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target a Memento monster you control. If it attacks a defense position monster this turn, piercing. You can use each effect once per turn. The piercing is good because you have a big 5k guy.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to OTK. You know, its whole purpose is to attack multiple times through monsters. So this lets you do that.
Being able to give your big 5k asshole piercing, and he's gonna kill.
Yeah.
You know, it helps guarantee the OTK, and that's its graveyard effect, because, again, its primary effect is to let you, pop a guy, including, by the way, hand or face-up field, to, add a new guy to
Modal
deck.
Spells,
or,
modal
summon.
spells are, in fact, amazing, and I love them.
And also,
And I'm
you'll
glad
notice
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is doing more of them.
there's an important text here. It was on this one and on Bone Back. It only says you can only use each effect once per turn. It does not say and only one that turn, a clause that has fucked over many a good card.
Oh, yes.
But now we're going to look at one of their trap cards. Everybody get ready for a Pink Floyd Laser Light
Are
show.
trap cards good again yet?
Depends on the deck you're playing, but some trap cards are pretty good. This is Mementolan
Well,
Cranium
they're-
Bust.
There are several trap cards now that can just allow you to activate trap cards from graveyards. So while trap cards themselves, I would say, are not great again, there are still a lot of good trap cards that you are able to cheese with because
Labyrinth is still a top quality deck.
It's better than it was a couple years ago, is what you're saying.
no.
Yes.
It is no longer
Most
guaranteed
definitely.
that every single deck is just running 3 copies of Imperm. It really depends on what your deck does. You will run in archetype spell and traps. Like, for instance, I talked about this. I've been playing the Illusion Chimera Fusion deck in Master Duel since I finished building it. That just runs 3 Imperm because we don't have any traps in archetype, and there's no, generic traps that really help it out right now, so it's just yeah, you just put a little extra fluff in there. But I also play Labyrinth in Master Duel, so that's, 50% traps.
Honestly, I might download Master Duel again, because I miss playing a card game client that, works. Yes,
What,
Wizards,
are
I'm
you
putting
tired of
on-
playing Cockatrice?
I'm putting you on notice. MTGO fucking sucks.
Yeah, Master Duel does function. It's the WCQs right now, so, you got people fucking around doing a lot of stuff. They got a lot of solo mode stuff.
Yeah, my brain is blinking on the actual Vanquish Soul. I keep thinking it was a Valiant Soul for some reason.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Vanquish
no,
Soul just
there-
got a secret pack.
Yeah, we were discussing the other time we discussed last episode. Vanquish Soul has a counter trap that just kills you.
Yeah, it's an archetype
counter-
Omni
it's a-
Negate that also domes your opponent for the attack of one of your face-up monsters in archetype.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
love
and
it.
their boss monster is a 3K asshole. So it's it's get negated, also get domed for 3K, dumbass.
Yeah, it's no,
Excellent.
also fuck you for trying.
It is quite literally like it's a fighting game archetype. It is the boss. It is the final boss's like 3-bar super insta kill.
Yeah, his screen clearing super.
It's freaking roaring demon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's he's called Kaiser Valius. His special attack, the name of the trap card is Calamity Kaiser, and it's just him shooting a big fucking spear of lightning. Yeah, I know.
It's full screen. It's full screen spear kill you, unblockable. Die.
Speaking of full screen clears, Cranium Burst, which we've had pulled up.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Thing.
This is their boss
That's a
monster,
lot of
combined
lasers.
creation. Yeah, he's shooting a lot of light. He's got a lot of crystals to shoot light from.
Is it bad that I don't like I don't like the art of him closer up? I really like the actual card art for combined creation, but I'm not a huge fan of him being close
No,
to the screen.
this I will say the like pose they've put him in for this is a little weird. I don't know if I like it. I don't like hate it, but it is a little bit of an odd perspective.
I think it loses me because we are now focusing on all the colored lights and lasers that
Yeah.
it becomes a bit too much.
There's a lot
to
of
look
just
at.
random chaotic lines, yeah.
Yeah.
I think all the lasers is cool.
This just gives me very like late GX card design vibes. Of like
I don't.
I'm thinking of the whatever the heck the fusion of the god or not gods, the demon cards are.
Oh yeah,
Armor tile?
yeah, big armor
Yeah,
tile.
that.
The Sacred
I
Beast.
don't,
Yeah.
I don't see it.
He's got a lot.
Yeah, this is a continuous trap card.
Yeah. So I mentioned, I think, vaguely before, but now it's been like an hour and a half. This is one of their tricks. It says, while you control a Memento monster, your opponent's monsters that can attack must attack the Memento monster you control with the highest attack, their choice if tied. So it's just final attack orders, except they have to attack your biggest asshole. Also, when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field except during the damage step, target a combined creation you control. It loses exactly 1,000 attack and defense. If it does negate that activated effect, you can only activate this effect once per chain. So yeah,
That's kind of good.
this is your
Yeah.
going first tool. If you can set up combined creation on your turn going first and then flip Cranium Burst, you're basically like, okay, if you activate effects on field, I have Light and Darkness
5
Dragon, but he's huge. I have 5 negates. And also, you have
Only
to
for
attack him.
yourself.
Yeah, it turns your combined creation into a 5-mat Apo. That's also still a 5K asshole.
Yeah. And if your opponent can find like 3 or 4 effects to activate on field while being negated to make him small enough to run over, good for them.
That would be what's the freaking synchro dude that I played all the time that has like 10,000 attack? The psychic one.
Oh, Pepino.
Yeah, Pepino.
I don't know how easy it's easy to set up Psychic and Punisher, Mr. Pepino, if you can't activate monster effects on field.
That's also true.
But yeah, so it's a pretty good one. This is a
He
card.
does become unaffected by activated effects at least. So like, if you can drop Pepino, he will unfortunately out the lock,
Yeah.
but you still have to get to him.
But they have another trap card. This card art I think I like a little bit better here is this is Memento Lon Fracture Dance. It shows Memento Lon Horned Dragon doing an attack. This is a normal trap that says, if you control a Memento monster, target a card on the field, destroy it. And if you control Combined Creation, destroy one more card. When an attack is declared involving your Memento monster and opponent's monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard. All monsters your opponent controls lose 1,000 attack until the end of this turn. You can use each effect once per turn.
I like it.
Yeah. So it's a pop. It's a possible pop 2. Even if it's just pop 1, that's still pretty good. Like I said, fucking in Labyrinth, because you can plus off it, you will run Compulse. So, like, remove 1 card is not awful. It's a pop 2 if you've got your big Chungus out. And in Graveyard, it's a battle trick, which your opponent's probably not going to like.
Yeah, it's decent.
And
I like the art.
The 1K attack can even fuck about with our other trap card, where your opponent thinks that they've Your,
yeah,
your
they like
opponent
whittle him down to
thinks-
like 3K, and they think they can get over him, and then you're like, no, you're smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're actually 2,500 now. I still win.
And it's the kind of
No,
thing that
it's
you got to
pretty
keep
good.
track of. And it's a thing that your opponent can forget to keep track of, because you have a lot of ways to bin multiple cards to your graveyard over the course of your turn. I will say,
Yeah, no,
I don't know what the 60-card Memento version looks like where you can run grass, but I feel like this deck wants grass.
This deck would definitely enjoy a grass build. Just so it can dump so many cards in the graveyard that your opponent has no way to properly keep track of what's in your grave anymore.
So, the fun part about this, the reason I kind of like the archetype looking at them, is unlike a lot of graveyard archetypes, they don't actually just straight up die to total graveyard hate effects,
Yeah.
which is nice. Like, you can't just play Necro Valley and then I'm like, well, I lose.
Hell, they have built-in Necro Valley removal. Darkblade is a spell trap pop. You can get rid of Floodgates if you can activate his effect.
I'm guessing
boy,
probably...
is this a quick play feature that can only be activated in the main phase? My favorite.
Correct. This is Memento Lawn Fusion. Great fusion art, by the way. Love this art.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Jokes aside, this is the Gem Knight card in disguise.
Yeah.
And
But
it
this
looks
is
like
this
one.
is indeed a quick play fusion that says during the main phase, fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material, including a Memento monster. If a monster in your opponent's possession, was destroyed by a card effect this turn, you can also shuffle Memento monsters from your graveyard into the deck as material. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, destroy 1 monster you control. If you do, add a Memento spell trap from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. So yeah, no, this is a pretty good archetypal fusion spell. So if you've been doing Memento effects, you get to shuffle back guys, shuffle back mats from your graveyard, as well as using from hand or field.
It truly will just never not be hilarious to me that El Shaddai Fusion has defined quick play fusion cards for the rest of time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chimera
I mean,
Fusion is the same way.
it's probably good. Although I
I'm-
like being able to fuse during the battle phase.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying we need it. It's just funny that because of Shaddai, it has redefined what a quick play fusion should be allowed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, the primary idea is so that you can't just, OTK your opponent out of nowhere. You can't
Yeah.
go to the battle phase and be like, your opponent thinks they're going to live, and then you're like, actually, I fusion summon. I've got 1 more guy. You're dead. But do note that it doesn't have any restrictions on the monster you fuse, just that you have to use mementos as material. So obviously that unlocks your memento fusions, but also leaves plenty of generic fusion monsters like, Garula of the Mystic Wings. You've got some darks, so you could probably pull off a Starving Venom if you really needed to. Muddy Mud Dragon shit. All your favorites. You can play Guardian Chimera in this.
I heard you read it. It even registered in my brain that it's a generic. You just need a fusion with a memento monster.
Yes, one of the materials must be memento. If you want to use the shuffle back, you have to use mementos in your graveyard. But yeah, no, you can.
So, I would guess the
field.
deck would probably want to run some kind of graveyard shell. Then, maybe zombies or the dark, Greffer stuff.
It's got a lot of its own names though.
You have enough core nonsense to facilitate. I would say the big things like Foolish Burial and Grass if you're allowed to.
Yeah, which you can in Master Duel. I would say probably these days what the big generic graveyard resource loop is the Horus engine, which would also probably slot into
yeah.
this pretty good. Just giving you extra big assholes you can do to stall for time. And bin guys from graveyard. So yeah, there's a lot of potential in this archetype, and obviously, Memento is the thing that when Yu-Gi-Oh players see this archetype, it activates their neurons because it's like, oh, look at these little guys. They're like a reference to a thing I know. But also, I get to summon a really big fucking guy. Yu-Gi-Oh players love love summoning huge guys.
They love sucking off huge guys. You can say it.
Well, you know, it's there now.
We already
Wait a
said
minute.
it for us.
Please.
Sorry,
somebody
Omega.
clip that.
Omega, I don't mean to derail things, but I've just been looking over the ban list. They banned summon limit?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, we'll talk about this. We'll talk
We're
about this
cooking.
separately. Let's get to the cards first.
Okay.
Oh no,
Well,
this is the last card,
We're
isn't
basically
it?
done,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is the last card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. We dealt. Are you looking at Master Duel ban list or TCG ban?
TCG ban list.
Yeah. A few. I think it was 2 ban lists ago that the TCG just kind of went, okay, we are taking all the big floodgates and putting them at one. Just we are not like killing them, but we are wiping the slate of floodgates.
Yeah.
Like
Those
critical
are-
mass of floodgates.
And I think in a lot of cases, it's probably because of Snake Eyes, because Diabellstar and a lot of the Snake Eye cards are like, send face-up spell traps to do stuff, so it's the classic issue of you can just fucking undo your own floodgates. And they're just like, man, floodgates, fuck them.
Also, I will say I did call title getting put to 1.
Oh yeah, the Dragon Rulers have slowly been
Yeah,
creeping up on them.
they've been
Like,
working
they're
a
fine.
very, very slow vibe. Title was the last, but they're all gonna be creeping up.
Can't wait for title to break ice barriers.
Go for it, man. The like, what wave of support are we on? Like
I
5th?
don't know, like 50?
Like
we-
the new shit is actually pretty good. MBT
Yeah, no,
did do a TMT on it, and it looks
Yeah,
pretty
if
functional.
you haven't been paying attention to Dallas, not only did they get that structure deck a year or 2 ago, we got more support recently. We got more
Oh.
ice barrier support.
Mirror Master, a couple new dragons. I think the
Ranger Warriors
continuous
get
is
any
new.
support? I really doubt it.
No,
Not recently, unfortunately.
No, didn't think so. It's okay, I'll still play the deck.
I mean, it's still pretty competent.
But yeah, no, like I said,
Lubu still
Memento
works.
like activates people's neurons, so it's a great little deck build deck. Probably next we'll talk about I don't know. Do you guys want to do Valmonica or Centurion?
I would prefer Valmonica because I have nothing against Centurion. Like what we discussed. Look, Centurion is a fine archetype. It's fine by itself. It just is attached to the hip to King Calamity.
All right, we can leave it off. And it depending on how long we wait, it may actually end up in Master Duel, so we can get higher quality
Yeah.
assets. Watch it be Valmonica next anyway.
Lol, Maxi is still not banned.
Yeah.
It won't be.
What's new?
I
Unfortunately.
know.
I mean, people are hoping
It's
and coping,
just
but we'll
funny.
see. But we did get a new deck build pack announced. We talked about it, Crossover Breakers, and they finally started showing some early previews of the archetypes. So naturally, we're gonna pull them up for you.
We have the 3 Yu-Gi-Oh genders.
Oh Jesus.
We have Big Punch Robot, Hot Lady, and Dragon.
No, you know that sounds kind of correct.
So yeah, these are our new guys. The first archetype we're reading from left to right here is either Razol or like Razol with a Z. It says it explicitly says they're Xyz monsters that unleash energy made of shining light, burning flames, and booming thunder. They seem to have a little bit of a race theme. You know, this guy's like a hot rod with like, big shooting flames and thunder punches and stuff.
Like I've made the joke like 3 or 4 times now. The most pinchable waist. Like,
It's
dude,
true though. His waist is so tiny.
yeah, like
Also, hey, who
His-
could have guessed the weird Xyz robot, the weird robot archetypes in Xyz?
Dude's got that Gundam waist.
Oh, does he? Yeah.
like like I understand that. Look, we're fiction. We don't like. It doesn't have to be logistically sound, but his fucking shoulder pads are so gigantic, and his waist and like leg bits, they are.
Well, here's the real
they're
question:
thinner than his fingers.
is he a space robot or is he a land robot?
Probably on
Oh,
land.
they're
It looks
still
like they're racers.
land
You know,
robot.
burning
Yeah, like-
flames,
like-
booming
Okay,
thunder.
yeah, because if they're land robots, it doesn't make sense. If they're space robots, it actually is correct design, which is why all Gundams.
Oh, and this
from
guy's
the
name
space
is,
series look like that.
Rezol Detonator is his name.
Dead Nader.
Yeah,
Uh,
like detonator.
I've
I
already
love
played this
Detonator.
archetype.
Our middle one,
Like-
Malice, but the A is upside down. Seize control of the mysterious digital universe using all sorts of codes. In this case, seize in Japanese can refer to clearing a game or a walkthrough for a game, so it's a pun.
So
But yeah, they're
Digimon.
probably going to be Cybers. I don't think they're Digimon because their name's Malice.
I mean, no. Clearly, this is all that. What that freaking video game from like the early 2000s. Like
You need to say more
American
actual
Nightmare.
details.
Alice American Nightmare.
Oh, Erica McGee's.
Yeah, that one.
Alice getting Alan Wake's American Nightmare and American Mickey's Alice confused. But yes, probably Cybers. Her name is Malice Q, which is in brackets, by the way. Hearts of Cryptor. Very advanced systems.
That was
I dig
there,
that.
please.
Yes.
Yeah, he's good. And then I know Dallas said what archetype he thinks he's gonna play, but that's not the archetype he's gonna play because our third archetype is called Ryuka, aka Longhua, a high-level theme based around descending to become dragons and centered around 3 dragons vying for supremacy. The theme's name is Dragon plus Chuka, which is a archaic name for China in Japanese, pronounced Zhonghua in Chinese. So it's probably
Yeah.
Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Oh,
Yeah. Probably. It's probably Wei Li, and I can never remember the ones that don't matter. The red guys who always die.
Got him. But yeah, so again, the like 3 most Yu-Gi-Oh to Yu-Gi-Oh archetypes. Just like, yeah.
Maybe they won't be dragons then.
Yeah,
Might
they
be
might actually be
worms.
worms.
They might be worms because
We use the word for dragon,
Chinese
but
dragons are involved. But also, all of the like Yangzings are called dragons, even though they're not
Yeah.
dragons.
it does also say though about ascending to become dragons, so it's probably going to be like they might be like worms who become dragons or vice versa, dragons that become
yeah,
worms.
like they may not be dragon type, but they are dragons. Like,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like, they are still the dragon monster. Like they are dragon creatures.
Yeah, and this one is called Guangba. But yeah, so-
Sorry, Guangba or Kwangba?
Guangba with a G.
G.
So yeah, the classical types looks like a real fun time. I think I posted on Twitter. I was like, thanks for securing a future month of Fail Portrayal content. It'll be a while, obviously, because the pack's not out in the OCG even. But the pre-release is firing up.
Look, we'll
we're not dead.
we'll have at least half a month
Yeah.
to go through our other deck build packs, and I'm sure we'll find things to do.
Eventually. Eventually, we'll just stop doing deck effects, and we'll just instead of doing the poll results, we'll just do the poll will just be what order do we do them this month.
Yeah, we'll do pick and choose. Speaking of the poll, it's out. It's been out. You got about 7 days left, which is good because we're a little low scoring once again on the Patreon poll. Currently, we've got a tie at 2 votes each for Melfi and for the Photon follow-up, Photon/Tachyon. So yeah, you got about a week to figure that out. So please do that. Because we did Galaxy last time.
Have you guys done gimmick puppets in my absence?
No, I put it on the poll for like 6 months while you were gone. It never won, and eventually I just took it out. When Miss Bear came back, I think I slotted them in instead.
Eventually, gimmick puppets will happen.
I mean, it's more and more relevant.
I mean,
they're getting legacy support.
Yeah, they're getting legacy support, and it's like, have you seen legacy support for gimmick puppets, Dallas?
No, I have not.
Dallas, Gimmick Puppet is getting a field spell that says your Gimmick Puppet monsters are unaffected by the activated effect of monsters that aren't Xyz monsters.
It's
hilarious.
It's unironically really good support for Gimmick Puppets because Gimmick Puppet they've been doled out a bunch of random few cards because they're an anime deck. Like they hit a critical mass a la Super Heavy Samurai, where they get that one card that goes, oh, the deck's broken.
Yeah.
They get their Prodigy Wakaushi.
Just like DDD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got like a couple of new starters and shit. Like it's Oh, and the field spell also I think is add a Gimmick Puppet from deck to hand when activated too. You know, just cuz.
Because why not? They need it.
I mean, unironically, gimmick puppets probably do need that effect.
Oh no, it's just.
I'm not joking.
I wrote this comment on Reddit at one point where I'm like, I feel like in the next couple of years they're gonna print an Ally of Justice or Naturia card that just says when you activate this card, your opponent will have a heart attack or is forced to concede the game. Like, we'll put anything on legacy support for the most dog shit decks that have never been successful. Konami is crazy. Like,
I can't wait for the Ally of Justice field spell that says all your opponent's monsters are treated as light or whatever.
Yeah, that would be it. Our light. That would be the right way to go. You probably need two more effects on that hypothetical field spell, but yeah.
Summon Catastrophe from your extra deck for free. Who cares?
You could just synchro summon from your hand if you use only Ally of Justice monsters. We don't fucking care.
Synchro summon from your deck once per turn. Who's gonna stop you?
That would be if the end result was it required an Ally of Justice monster. That might be enough. If you could send the materials from your deck for a valid synchro summon an Ally of Justice, that might work.
Send this field spell to the graveyard. You can synchro summon one Ally of Justice monster from your extra deck using monsters in your deck. Like, who cares?
And the scary thing is that's not that crazy.
It really isn't.
Like, would that actually make Ally of Justice good?
No, I don't think it would.
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't make it good, but it would be a hilarious field spell to just break the rules of the game.
But yeah, that's gonna bring us to our end today for Fail Portrayal. You've got forward content to look for. We're gonna hit up Valmonica. That'll be very interesting to fucking read along. Or we can watch that Hardlick video where he tries to figure it out. Because I don't know shit about Valmonica. Other than that, thematically, it kind of seems like they tried to do. Oh god, why am I blanking on the name? Sulfur 2, obviously in a different way. But they tried to do like an interesting contrasting, pendulum archetype, and it does stuff.
Look, as our resident pendulum mechanic enjoyer, I do love them trying to do weird ass shit with the pendulum mechanic because they've accepted that the original pendulum stuff, it's good. I like it. It's fun. It was a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we can say for sure it's a mistake because they are. If you guys don't know, Plushfire's gonna be released from jail. He's gonna be freed because they're gonna errata to be hard once per turn.
They're hard once per turning him, which he probably deserved in the first place. Yeah. I'll be honest.
Yeah, no, it's talking about literal mistakes. They've realized the problem. There was no hard once.
Have you had to do any pre-bannings yet?
Not. They do it on Master Duel all the time.
Yeah, Master Duel preemptively hits, but that's because they do a ban list every fucking month.
Yeah.
So they haven't quite done as much of a fucky wucky as Magic yet.
No, I don't think a situation has occurred in the OCG or TCG where they know for sure they're gonna print a card and it's gonna cause problems, so they
Honestly,
like have to pre-ban.
Konami might be full of a bunch of executives that have bad ideas, but it will at least never beat until we hear the Konami set a Yakuza hit on someone.
I don't believe you, actually. Like, maybe not the card side of Konami, but the video game side of Konami would definitely send a Yakuza
Actually,
hit on
I mean,
someone.
they finally got
They're involved in
they finally got
pachinko
people for
machines.
that though. But technically, all those people went into the pachinko division, and I think somebody just turned to dust. I think somehow.
I think it's called they ran out of money.
Mm.
COVID happened. I don't think you can pachinko parlor.
Yeah.
They realized they need to diversify their portfolio.
Oh no.
And hey, we're
It
getting Metal
feels
Gear
so
Delta
bad
out
for
of it,
them.
probably. That's cool.
I hope
Good.
I hope that is good. Even though I feel like I
Oh,
can see Karma not going well.
It looks good. And
it'll
they
be better than Metal Gear Survive.
they
mean, that
say
game
they're
was
gonna let you
vampire.
keep like classic control and all that shit. You can do the visual filters
Yeah,
to make it
different
all yellow
modes, yeah.
again. So like they seem to be treating it with the respectful level of video game remake, not the shovelware level of video game remake.
Because they know if it sells well, they might be able to do more.
Yeah, somewhere along the way, Konami realized that like, oh shit, we own franchises that people like. We need to do something with this shit. Kind of the revelation
We
that I
own
think
franchises
Capcom
people
hit a couple
like.
years back.
Actually,
And we also have to actually like we have to respect them to a degree that people will think of us as a company they can trust.
Yeah.
I also think it might be that there might have been like one or two specific board members that just fucking hated Kojima, and they're finally out of the board.
I mean,
I
we
could see that. I don't want to like guarantee that, but
But that just feels
Kojima
like a thing that might have
was
happened.
an auteur. Like he was that kind of guy who would like get in there and manage projects to his just so, and like you see this with his own production company. He's out here like cutting every like trailer release himself, kind of a thing. And I'm
I mean,
sure
like,
that like
even going all the way back to Metal Gear Solid: Sons of Liberty.
yeah,
When the big thing happened in 2001, he had to beg Konami to say, "Hey, I need like one more month to refix the ending. We
That was
cannot
two,
have
actually.
this ship.
That was,
well yeah,
This
Sons of Liberty,
cannot
as I said.
ship the way it is."
sorry. I thought
Yeah, the spread didn't say
you said
2, but they
four.
did say the subtitle.
Yeah, that would have been
Yeah, and
interesting.
good for them
Respect
that
the
they let him fix it. Metal Gear
Yeah,
Solid
but-
2,
but,
a game that
but-
more people need to play because the things it has to say are freakishly prescient for 20 years ago.
It's weird how it's like it's basically 90% on the dot about weird shit.
Yeah, but like I mean, even separate from like that extra like month deadline they allowed him, it was still like up against the wall. Like
Yeah.
this has to launch. This has to release Kojima. Like you
And
cannot.
I
keep-
think that's what happened with Metal Gear
You're
Solid
right.
5 was just like they split it up into 2 releases because they wanted to get more money out of the project because Kojima kept taking fucking forever to release the project, and they were like, game's gonna come out.
It also turns out that the conditions and the engine were like such a nightmare.
Well, yeah, I mean, like,
I mean-
the problem was that, like, I think Hideo Kojima, what he needs in game development is he needs the blank check. So his whole company being based around providing games that he wants to make and being, like, bankrolled by, like, Sony or Xbox, right, is like, yeah, no shit. Like, that's perfect for them to just go, keep making your game. If it takes 8 years, it takes 8 years, baby. And then we've got it, like. But
We'll market
Konami
the
was
fuck out of
like,
it,
back
and
in the
we'll
day,
make-
was like, we need. Mr. Kojima, we require money to function. You are just a money sink. Give us something. And he's like, well, it's not fucking done yet. I'm trying to build a masterpiece here. I'm trying to finish a game series. You keep making me
we
make more
killed
games.
like 3 other teams to keep funding you. So get us something next week. And it's like, I can't.
Look, I'm trying to implement a system where if you find a razor, Snake will shave himself later in the game.
Yeah. Which is batshit
I mean-
crazy, but is also really cool.
I will say this: I will never give the game developing company the benefit of the doubt over a game developer. So, especially Konami.
I
Yeah,
don't
like
think the hell it
they
would.
were
I feel
they
like
were like to try and force him to finish the game. They were really inhumane to Kojima and his team. They were like, isolating him,
Like-
you know, like cutting him off from contact and like shit, like putting his people in different offices.
Like, ironically,
Real
it turns out
mafia
that
shit.
like from what you see in like Phantom Pain, 2/3 of the story were done.
Yeah, no, like-
all of the actual like equipment and like personal character assets were done.
Yeah, it's truly insane to me that Metal Gear Solid. I say this all the time to my friends. It is the best 7 out of 10 of all time.
Yeah, it's basically watching an art house film in the form of a game, but it's drawn out over like 5 different art house films.
Yeah,
Once?
it's an incredible game. I truly believe it is a masterpiece of video game craft. It's
think-
just unfinished, so it cannot be a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, you
think
can't make it a
that-
10 out of 10 because there's literally no
Yes.
third act.
My thing is like I think a lot of like the earlier MGS games are clunky and they feel like the best they could be of the time they were made.
Yeah,
And I think
Like,
Hideo
you can
Kojima
age
feels
of
the
some of
same
them.
way. Like he makes the best game that he can make when he can make it, and that's why. That was the thing Lucky and I talked about when we did replay the whole Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. It's on our channel now. It's all on one place
It's
if you watch all
like,
of it. But like,
One,
he
2, and
reused
3,
a lot of
also the
set pieces.
menus.
Do you know why? Like, there's a hind fight in like every fucking Metal Gear game. Why? I think it's because Hideo Kojima kept thinking he could make better helicopter fights. You know, like every single time he was like, "I'm gonna do this better." And so now
To be
he's at a
fair,
point
he
where
was
he's
correct.
like, they're gonna make that new. He's gonna eventually make that new game, Fizzint, that's codenamed, which is like a return to tactical
hope-
espionage action.
I honestly hope in Fizzint they actually do something about like the idea of information control and maybe do actually another take on the war on language.
We'll see. We'll see what parts he wants to carry forward. But yeah, like I think he realized while he was working on Death Stranding 2, he was like, man, my last Metal Gear game is Metal Gear Solid 5. How do I feel about that? I don't
So-
think I like that. I need to make a
so-
new game.
This is kind of a weird tangent, but I just want to say this because I feel like it's kind of somewhat relevant thematically. I didn't know a lot about MGS5. What's the end of it? It's about a lot of goofy bullshit. A lot of goofy demon parasite bullshit, but it's also about
but also that
language and the control of language and the idea of the universal common. And
Yeah, and
as
that's
someone that works in like a defense department, it turns out like there and also have like I've seen conspiracy pipelines. Stuff is hidden through languages. Like there are shit about like different incidents through the world that you just never know because you'll never catch on the loop because no one ever translates it.
yeah. Well, and that's like
one
that's
thing I
Hideo
will
Kojima's
say-
like thing, right? Which is like taking something that's very real, like the concept of information control in Metal Gear Solid 2, very real. I literally saw a news story yesterday about how the fucking Defense Department did an anti-vax psyop in the Philippines against the Chinese version of the COVID vaccine. Like, despite the fact, by the way, the State Department was telling the Defense Department, "Hey, dumbass, don't do that."
They did it in China as well.
Oh, I'm sure, but we know for sure they did some. Like, there was a whole like psyop field. That's like real. Is there giant AIs in the basement of the White House claiming to be like made of the primordial soup, like what actually physically happened in Metal Gear Solid 2? No.
If that was actually real, someone would actually expose it like 10 years ago.
Yes.
No,
It's why I
yeah.
don't. It's why I'm pretty
Unfor-
sure UFO, like we don't have alien
UAPs, yeah.
spaceships, because somebody would have actually like shown you the picture. But like that's like how it works, you know. Same with like all the nano machines and stuff. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid, real great series. If they, whatever they release first, Delta or Master Collection Volume 2, expect to see us play it on the channel.
Yeah, 3 is so good.
to have one more comment on the conspiracy pipeline.
Yeah.
It was truly hilarious. Watching the unhinged ramblings of psychotic Metal Gear fans of the never say game over timeline.
Oh my
leading up
god,
to
yes,
Death
yeah, I
Stranding.
know. It's
Oh
because
my-
you're also a Chip Cheesem head.
A Chip Cheesem head, yes.
Yeah,
it was,
I watched
it
that
was
entire
truly
clip
the
about
best
that.
timeline.
That is
don't-
so. If
I
look up, first of all, watch Chip Cheesem LP's Metal Gear Solid 5
Or
series. It's fucking
do
phenomenal.
better and go on their Patreon and watch and listen about them talk about Farscape.
Space Puppets is also cool,
legitimately-
but like
I've legitimately watched that Let's Play like 5 times.
It's
'cause
a masterpiece
just
of
so
editing,
fun
yeah.
to watch.
it's great. But one of the episodes at the very end is Chip recaps this concept of never be game over, which is just like the conspiracy rabbit hole about how there's a secret third act for Metal Gear Solid 5 and it's actually coming out. Guys, we're so serious.
It basically boils down to the entire like B plot, quote unquote, of Kojima and Konami having this psychotic mafia
He's a
beef and him
psyop?
getting fired is actually a psyop.
Yeah,
and
it's
that
a
Death
deep
Stranding is
cover
going to be
meme.
Metal Gear Solid 6.
Yeah, no. So check it out because it's just wild to think about how it
It's-
works. Because it's to an outsider,
Look.
it's pure copium.
Is it weird?
Conspiracy. The concept of magical thinking in conspiracy theories is people will believe literally anything, and it's absolutely hilarious.
I
People.
I do want to say there is I can see the origin of the point is because people assume Kojima is literally a weirdo, like random bullshit nonsense man. Because
Well, and he did do a big stunt for Metal Gear Solid 5.
listen, he 30% he kind of is just up his own ass sometimes. But I would say he believes so because he's entirely about the thematic purpose of his own internal logic and nothing
Wait,
else.
He's an artist. Of
Yeah,
course
he's doing
up
art
his own
stuff.
ass.
But like, and to be fair, he did do a fake out. He was part of a fake production company and wore bandages on his head and like joked about the full head transplant in the setup for, that's the the Moby Dick Studios thing. Before we realized that it was Metal Gear Solid 5, but that's
And
the
even
most
before
elaborate.
that, to go back to Sons of Liberty, Raiden was a bait and switch. Like
Yep.
the entirety of Metal Gear Solid 2 was billed as it's Snake again. And like you go through the first mission and you're not playing a Snake anymore for the rest of the game.
And
It's
then,
meant- yeah.
like, even Metal Gear Solid 3 does that as a gag, where you start with the Rykov mask on, and then you take it off, just as one more Kojima, like, haha, I bet you would have been real bad.
Honestly, I wouldn't have because I actually liked how Raiden
Well,
grew
yeah,
as a
no.
character. But that's
We played 2
Yeah,
recently,
but that
like I
would
said,
have
that's
made Metal Gear
series.
Solid 3 a really awkward game.
No,
and
that
not
wouldn't have
work.
worked out, but, like,
And it's arguably
I don't
the
think
best
Raiden's
game in
that
the
bad as a
series, so
character
I
in
don't
2.
care.
Like, most of his complaints are very legitimate. It's just that in the 2000s, gamers were different, and they were like, no, I don't want to be a whiny baby. I want to kill more men. And it's like, no, in reality, if you were part of a Metal Gear plot, you would be like, Colonel, what the fuck is going on? Rose, why are you talking to me? There are terrorists trying to kill the
I'm
president
gonna
right
be
now.
honest. I've always had one huge problem with Raiden, and I've never been able to get over it.
What is
The
it?
way he speaks, I can never take him seriously.
I think it's fine. I think it's just you have to understand. It's
He
a
just
guy that-
sounds like an edgelord. I don't know how you
Also-
do that.
He sounds
I
like
think
a
it's a little
guy that he
intentional.
sounds like a guy over his head half the time.
I mean, like he is a guy who thinks he's made it when he's faked it the whole time, basically.
Yeah.
It's more
So
he was
he
lying. He was
hasn't
told he made
overcome-
it the whole time.
But
Well, yeah, but he was faking it till he make it, and then he realized, like, oh, shit.
we've lost the plot.
Yeah,
We've-
yeah.
we've
We're
lost
at
the
almost
plot
2
of
We've
Raiden's
been talking
plot.
about nothing for half an
Dallas
hour.
is what happens, you know.
I mean, we do that a lot.
I'm gonna fucking powerbomb you. I swear to God.
I mean, Dallas just take pride that you cause shit to happen randomly.
Fail Betrayal's back, baby. But I'm gonna get out of here. We've been here for 2 hours. We got stuff to do. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back next week. Let me see. Actually, is that the last one? Yeah. So we'll be like the poll will be like over, and then we'll do it. So we'll see what's up.
And I will probably actually show up on time next week because
Hey, hope we can get
I
a lot
have everything
involved.
to do on Tuesday.
Don't know what he's doing, but he missed the fuppas. So, I'll skip the ads. That's everything. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, hey, you want even more content on this channel? Go watch, me and Lucky play Metal Gear Solid. We, did all those. And we'll catch you later. Bye.
See y'all.